Welcome. My name is Mark Garius, and like most of you watching, I'm an investor in a very challenging market environment. And I'm here with Avi from HouseStars to understand better how HouseStars are addressing that market opportunity. So over to Avi to introduce himself.
Thank you, Mark, for this opportunity. It's quite unusual. Normally, I'll have the startup journalist trying to explore more and tear me to pieces, but here I've got yourself, my investor on HouseStars. So before we talk about myself and HouseStars, how about you tell us about yourself?
Okay, right. I've been around for 4 decades, and I've been managing director of large businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses. So, for example, I was managing director of Toshiba back in the day. I was the managing director of a medium business because it grew from 5 million to 40 million in the managed services market. I've also been chairman of, latterly, smaller businesses that are family run, looking to grow, and this is also, why HouseStars fits with what I'm trying to do, get involved in. I guess the biggest common theme over what I've done is mergers and acquisitions. So
that's really interesting. Do you want to talk a bit about what you think the trends before and how it just sort of prevails in the current market?
Well, M&A is a podcast if I was to do one all of itself.
Okay.
And I've done 30 odd and in different sectors, and it is an art as well as a science. And but the part of what I've learned is coping with growth, which is, again, fast-growing businesses that have grown by acquisition are different to slow organic growth businesses. And HouseStars is fast in a different dimension, really, potentially. So I've learned that the people side of it matters enormously, which is why I got to know Avi before I became an investor in this business. That's, I guess, my thing. I don't like investing in things I don't really understand or I've got involved in. So that's why I got involved with Avi and HouseStars. So back to you, telling us a bit about yourself. You interrupted me and I interrupted you.
All right. So Avijeet, Jayashekhar, I've been in the industry not as long as yourself, still learning, but been the banking, financial services, and the technology sector for almost over 2 decades, playing sort of disruptive, innovative leadership roles, trying to change how banks operate, providing a better customer experience when it comes to the new digital age of customers we see today. I've also been an avid investor, so I've been obviously paying tax, and I've been obviously trying to maximize the leverage I've got by putting in things like property investments, from HMOs to buy-to-lets to service accommodations. I've done them all, and I think I would also call myself a serial entrepreneur. HouseStars will be my 4th gig. I had a few exits previously, a few of them which I wouldn't like to mention, didn't go anywhere, but here I am now building my prop tech startup, HouseStars.
Okay, so let's get into HouseStars, which I've got the jargon now. It's a prop tech business. What got you into that specifically?
Actually, my entire motivation of doing HouseStars is led by being a homeowner first and then an avid landlord and investor. No one taught me in any of those learning journals or any of my research that investment is one part for property business, and then maintaining them and being compliant with 150, 200 regulations that's led by UK government are not so easy, and is my own sheer challenges of ensuring I'm able to maintain my properties for any emergency, for any compliance reason. I struggle, and that possibly became my thought process that this issue in the UK needs to be dealt with a combination of, I would say, technology, a good process, digital enablement, and for some reason it's still waiting for us to fix it. And I think HouseStars can help to address the gap.
what would you say is the unique selling proposition for HouseStars?
I think it's a combination of various things. The first thing is we want to put our skin in the game. If you look at the current situation, if you need a contractor or a tradesperson, you have got various websites and classifieds from social media recommendations, and the owner sits with you to get a phone number and chase them and call them and book and rebook. And the whole challenges of doing end-to-end project management, where someone like me 10 years back would be a novice property owner with no idea what I'm supposed to do. So it's almost like removing those frictions in the end-to-end journey, using a good onboarding process, a good end-to-end back office management, and ensuring the customers have got a control over things that's going on, led by us. So we do have things like escrow, where the payment is actually managed by us. On the app, you could go and book the service you need in real time. So it's on-demand service. We use AI to basically give customers a lot of personalized services and recommendations. But at the end of the day, the entire the payment process, we manage them ourselves. And that is where I think is the main glue that binds this industry on demand, plus the protection for the customers.
I mean, I liken it to booking a taxi or booking a takeaway in the old days compared to now. I've used the HouseStars app 5 times because I've needed a plumber. You go online, you click plumber, you get a price, you pay, and then when the plumber gets the job done for you, he gets paid. I mean, it's almost, which is what persuaded me in the end to invest. So I guess what makes it attractive to those investors like me going forward?
I think the first thing we need to acknowledge is this is a huge industry. We're talking about 8.5 billion total addressable market just in the property renovation, emergency services, and the non-construction industry, of which we are trying to address roughly 9 million dwellings in UK, which translates to about 2.5 billion. And then our current ambition is to pick up those demographics, which are heavily digitized. We have got urban population living together. They already, as you mentioned, using other apps for convenience. They become a market, but we'll be picking up a pragmatic small percentage of that in the next 5 years to come as we build our brand, our reputation, and our services and operations.
Because what I have noticed is I went to a seminar about investor seminar, and it was talking about the property services market. I think I've got the thing here. Was one of the only sectors that actually grew over the last few years, despite all of what's been going on in the world.
That's very true. I mean, it is predicted, and it's been confirmed that the annual CAGR is 8.8% for the property services industry, and that's a combination of population growth, more constructions to be done, more rental regulations from the industry. So there's extreme huge demand of this particular sector, and I think, irrespective of a pandemic or the harsher financial climate, this sector will continue to grow as per the experts.
And what are your expansion plans to take on that opportunity beyond what is currently the Maidenhead and surrounding area?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we launched last year, as you know, Mark, because we live in Maidenhead. Our team launched the MVP or the trial in Maidenhead. And to our surprise, we grew pretty much organically through word of mouth, through the kind of clever marketing we have done. And we acquired about 2,000 portfolio landlords and homeowners, and we service about 3,500 properties through them. So our cost of customer acquisition is quite low compared to other startups. And our lifetime value customer is at least £4,000, which makes us sort of ahead of the other startups in this industry. Having said that, we still need funding to grow. We have bootstrapped this far, and we have done everything that we could ourselves to prove the model, to create the market traction, the branding. But now we want to go across Berkshire to other areas. We want to get into London, and I think this is the time we need to open up and ask for investments.
Because I'm a perfect example of a lifetime value. I've used you 5 times within a year, which as you say, it's not, once you've acquired that customer like me, I'm going to have, I've done plumbing with you, I've done heat, radiators, fitting. So the logic is, once you've got someone, they grow with you, and then when you need to expand geographically, that's where you need to find those tradespeople. I think that's part of the key thing, is the investment is to find the trades. I'm paraphrasing, find the tradespeople and make sure that the marketing is appropriate to get to your next geographic location.
Absolutely. So you nailed it right. So part of our growth strategy is acquire customer, but we start 6 months earlier to pre-plan the launch of a new demography, which could be soft launch, pre-sign-ups, and also making sure we have a qualified list of tradespeople who understand how we help them to also onboard the platform and we make additional revenue for the existing business model. So that really starts early, and again helps us through the investments we're seeking at this point in time.
And the other thing, when I first got involved, you got the business qualified for SEIS.
Oh yeah, of course. So as you know, UK probably is probably the only country in the whole of the world which has got this fantastic tax allowance structure created to bring back money in the economy through the taxpayers. So it kind of works this way: is if you are a UK resident paying tax in this country, government gives you a option to reinvest your hard-earned money into early stage high growth businesses, and for the risk and reward, you can get up to 50% of your tax bill for the year. There are further benefits to it. Other benefit could be mitigating of any loss. So basically, for every pound invested, government kind of backs you up to about 80 pence. So risk factors in only 10 to 20 pence. On the other side, if the business does well, like other startups, if HouseStars has got a much higher valuation and you would like to take your profits back home, you don't pay any tax to it. Further on, if you want to pass on the shares or your investment to your next of your family, there is no capital gain tax to pay. So it becomes a really, really long-term as well as short-term investment strategy, but with a massive tax benefit.
So for those who are watching, what do they need to do to follow this up?
I think if you've got any questions around SEIS or HouseStars as a business model, which has intrigued your thoughts, please do get in touch with me. I mean, my contacts will be shared as part of this discussion, and more than happy to sit one-to-one and provide you more details.
Okay.
So, Mark, and it's been unusual, again, I said before, investor, customer, probing me hard, but enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did as well. And people who's watching this video, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for me as well.